I was in a barbershop and she walked in and she had like this purple summer dress kind of get up thing, and you know, she had like the poetic justice braids and she was looking good. And
I got something to say. Hey, you got something to say. Hey, we all got something to say. Hey, so have your morning coffee with the Ballatts today. I got something to say. Hey, you got something to say. Hey, we all got something to say. Hey, so have your morning coffee with the Ballatts today. Morning coffee. I got something to say. You got something to say. Morning coffee with the Ballatts today.
it wasn't that she didn't look at me. It was she looked at everything but me. She was looking at the wall. She was looking at the floor. She was looking at everybody. But when it came to me, she would just look around me, and I was like, oh, okay, I know what she's doing.
I do remember seeing him, but so from there, so his sister did my hair for like the longest, and he had messaged me through Facebook and was like, hey, you know, how are you, blah, 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 blah. So he claims that I responded back in 26 seconds. I responded back in 38. And we started conversating from there. And the one good thing, when we first met, for us, it was, we went out on one date. We went on a breakfast date. And on that breakfast date, you know, the one thing I liked about him was he had really good energy.
Met at 16, went through high school. We both left New Jersey. I went to Clark Atlanta University. He went to Winston-Salem State University.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we both went to HBCUs. And then we came back from college in 2002. And I think we started dating 2003.
Yeah. Started dating in 2003.
But we were always friends. But on September 11th, my mom was involved in it. And nobody could get in contact with her. I was in college. He got in contact with her. The only phone that rang, the only cell number that he knew, for whatever reason, her number, he was in North Carolina, my mother was in New York. He rang her, right?
Mm-hmm. I was able to get through.
Yeah, and then he called me in Atlanta, and we had not heard from her the entire day. So Quentin was the only person to get in contact. And we were friends. He was the only person to get in contact with her. So I was like, oh, something about you is a little special. And you found my mama.
I had seen her through the years because we actually grew up not far from one another. I never knew she existed. I knew she didn't know I existed.
Right.
But I would see her in passing sometimes. I don't always wonder who she was, but years have gone by. And I happened to be looking at Facebook one day, and she was in a picture with a couple of friends of mine. So I'm like, wow, there she is again. And so I called my friend. I said, hey, who's that in that picture with you? And he says, oh, that's Sheila. Don't you know her? I said, obviously not, if I'm asking you who she is. So he kind of hooked us up. You know, we talked to one another when we went out. And the first time we went out, boy, I was a jerk. Ooh, I know, I'm serious.
You don't have to tell the story, baby.
I was a jerk. But anyway, years passed, and I had a period, probably a couple of years, probably about a year later, where I was going through some really emotional things and some deaths in my family. And so we kind of contacted again, and then, you know, she was helping me through it. And before that, we started going out again, and I knew after maybe the third time out with her that she was the one.
Yes, that's my love. That's
Seriously.
my love.
And then
And so, Jamillah and I, we actually had an on again, off again, on again. We were friends with benefits.
We were very, we just had this casual thing.
Yeah,
we had a very casual thing.
We had a lot of
like,
benefits.
I knew he was a good catch, but I wasn't trying to catch him.
Right.
I think I really was just so focused on what I had to do for myself, and every now and then when I wanted to spend time with somebody, it was him. It was him. So we would always chill at his place.
Chill. We were friends with benefits. We had dental benefits,
No.
health benefits, eye, vision, everything.
And we were cool with our arrangement, both of us.
Yeah, we were.
Both of us. Like we weren't.
We were.
I wasn't going home like, on the phone with a girlfriend, like, oh, I wonder
But
if he really wants. I wonder if we're gonna be in a relationship or blah blah blah. Like,
But
I didn't
eventually
think
you stop.
about
But
him.
eventually, the friends with benefits was getting old, and
Yeah.
she was like, "That's enough. That's enough."
That's it.
And so she killed it.
I got something to say.
Y'all met within 6 months. You were pregnant, and then now y'all here.
Listen, I don't know if you're still recording, but it's very important to get that we went to couples counseling.
We did
early,
very early,
because we had some, anything short of physical. We had some knockdown, verbal, all out wars. Like we had them, and we had to learn quickly that we had to have a third party in the mix in order to kind of mediate, because we was going hard, and we was like, yo, all right, first thing we got to do is figure out, is this worth pursuing, And then when we figured that out, we were like, okay, we got to get somebody in here to be the referee, because we throwing some blows. We was in there. And we fought for this, and
I would feel that, my ex wasn't taking the lead in making decisions and not including me in on things that we should have been doing together. And at times I would feel that, you know what, I can do it myself. If you're not going to do it, I'll do it. And I started to wear that hat, and to the point where I got comfortable wearing that hat. So therefore, and it becomes a burden on a woman, I believe. You get so used to it, but you don't realize, how much it weighs you down and how you're taking on this man's responsibility, and that personality becomes so strong, you're not allowing him to be the man that he needs to be. You're not allowing him to make the decisions that he needs to do, or bring that whatever it is to your attention. Say, babe, what about us doing that? And so I got to the point where I was wearing both hats, and like I would always say, if he would say, well, I'm the head of this household, not really directing me in a positive way, I'll joke around and I'll say, well, I'm the neck that turns the head. So let me see you move your head without your neck. And it was a joke, but when you really think about it, it's serious. It's really serious. If you call yourself a couple and you want to go in the same direction, because if you don't come to a point where you're trying to please each other at the same time by pleasing yourself, you'll wind up going separate ways, not realizing it. And it's a gradual process.
And sometimes I just let it go. But I also fully understood where she was coming from, having her told me about her past relationship or her marriage. And like I said, I'm generally a laid back guy. But when I feel like you're sort of emasculating me, that may be, it's the terminology, but it's not as strong as that means. But if it's an instance like that, that's when I really have to, project myself in.
We didn't know how to argue. We would just, she knew the buttons to push that would get me, I knew the buttons for her, and we would be pressing. And I think we had to learn how to fight. And I think that was one of the struggles that we had, because we would say whatever. Oh, yeah. I would say whatever, and
that's not right. And
right.
I have a terminology for that. Like, we had to learn the rules of engagement, because arguing, not even fighting is like another level, but just arguing, you have to know how to argue with your spouse so that it de-escalates versus the opposite. And I think when you're friends, you don't care, how it makes you feel. I'm gonna get my point across, I'm gonna say my opinion, that's it. But as you go through year 1, year 2, 3, 4, 5, and you've got kids, and you've got house, you got mortgage, you got business, you've grown some, you realize that I'm not gonna say that, because that's gonna push it, that's gonna take it to the next level. So the rules of engagement are now, let me sit down. Let me actually stop moving when I'm talking to him, and I can feel an argument coming up, because I know he doesn't like it when I'm like cooking and I'm doing.
I'm sitting there I'm talking,
and I'm telling him.
And she's talking to the child.
He's like, listen to me. So now I just kind of stop. I kind of say what I want to say. I'm listening, not to respond, but just to kind of understand. And that has changed our relationship dramatically over the course of years. We've learned the rules of engagement. So it never gets to 1,000. It literally gets to 3, maybe 2. And to be honest with you, we've gotten to the point now, knock on a bunch of wood and everything else, where we don't even argue. We don't argue often at all.
Yeah. And Brandy has a way of de-escalating it that I think is it's cute in a sense. It's annoying, but it's cute. And I think that's why we don't argue, because I hold on to things. Like, you know, I let a lot roll off my back when it comes to everything in life. So a lot of times Brandy will get the brunt of me being frustrated about something. But she has a way of de-escalating in that, like, she'll see me getting upset and she'll get super playful. Like, she'll be wanting to tickle me or like touch me, and I'll be like, stop, stop touching me, stop, don't touch me. But it becomes so cute that you can't stay mad. So then
I got something to say.
Talk
So
about
what's been a
something.
struggle?
So what's been a struggle for me is trust. Because I was with a compulsive liar before. And so what happens is you don't even realize that I subconsciously expected him to always be lying. I subconsciously expected you to always be hiding something. I subconsciously expected for things to always be good until I expected a mess up coming or a quote unquote mistake. And I wasn't even aware that I was expecting these things, that I was treating you, basically I was treating you as if you were that person. And you used to always say, I'm not him, I'm not him. And I'm like, and intellectually I'm like, well, duh, I wouldn't have married you if you were like him. But I really didn't see it. So, you know, we have this emotional part of us that stores our wounds. And no matter how smart you are and how wise you may be, no matter how well informed you may be on certain topics, there's still that conflict. Yeah. It's still always a conflict. And the thing is, I've learned how to try to be mindful. When I say try to be mindful, because it's still a struggle. It's still a struggle every single day. Yeah, like I know, because I've never been in a healthy, intimate relationship before. I haven't. That's the truth. So yeah, it's still to not say stupid things like, yeah, sure you are, like that. And I know I still do.
It's more in reference to, it's not the commitment part. It's more in reference to, I feel like, you know, we go through life thinking that we know truly what love is. And you really have no idea until you're with the right person. And I think the painful part for me, speaking for myself, was as a woman, you know, we glorify the whole aspect of love, like what love is. We think we know, we've got it down packed, and we're just waiting for that man to show up and just really just solidify it for us. But then it's not that. It's a lot of growing, it's a lot of learning, it's a lot of stretching, it's a lot of facing yourself and realizing I gotta undo a lot of stuff that I thought was right as a grown adult. That part is painful, and you're just not willing to necessarily, you won't experience that until you find the right person and you go through the right situations with the right person.
Absolutely.
So, you know, for me, the painful part of it was kind of undoing this thought of love that I thought was what love really is, and then meeting him and figuring out, okay, no, this is what love is supposed to look like. And that, if you have this picture in your mind for your whole life, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, that ain't it.
It's shattered.
It just shatters your whole world. And sometimes you might want to run away from it and just, you know, be out.
He'll say, but you know what? He gets a little.
Let me say it. If I
we don't have to go into
scold her or
detail.
something, if I scold her on something, if I say something to her, I'm an adult. I'm saying something to her.
Sheila does this many times. What's going on here? She'll come asking me. I mean, like, you should be siding with me, I feel. Because, I mean, I'm not saying anything out of the way, but I sort of find that, first of all, that's demeaning. She's taking away the little authority that I have in this situation. And I feel that she emasculates me in that situation. I mean, she may not do it on purpose, but sometimes she gets a little out of hand with it, you know? And we may have a little blow up, you know, it quickly subsides though. But it's those instances right there that really, really bother me.
It does.
You know, they really bother me.
It bothers him. It bothers him.
And, you know, she'll say, oh, you're really hard. And I'm saying, and I don't think I'm being hard on her. I think I'm just trying to make her realize. That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. And she may think I have some other ulterior motive, but no, that's what it is. I just wanted to realize things on it. But she's her grandmother, you know, so.
And I may be wrong, you know, about how I handle it. You know, I do know that. I guess because I do know what happened to her in the past, and I know the issues she's going through, and I also know what it's like raising children, you know. And sometimes I can be that spoiled grandmother, you know. And I have to come to the realization that, you know, let him handle it sometimes, but that's just.
Yeah. And if you're going to, like, confront me on it, don't do it in front of her. I feel that's extremely necessary. Don't do it in front of Mimi.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't do it in front of her, please, okay?
I'm sorry.
From now on?
I'm
please?
sorry.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, well, so we have, you know, I guess those are normal issues. And then you have, sometimes you may have issues of, you know, infidelity, you know, or trust issues, you know, and, you know.
I think social media, it demands a certain level of authenticity from us. You know, you're real on social media, believe it or not. And I will say earlier on in our marriage, I don't know, I think you could just put a lot out there. You know, he's very vocal. He's definitely pulled back a lot because of the business and just maybe maturity. But I think Quentin put a lot out there. You have a fight Monday night, it's on social media, or there's something there that you could tell someone may or may not be right.
I mean, I see the error now looking back at it. But yeah, I would, you know, you get in an argument and it's just like, I don't understand why women think that you could do this, that, and the third. And it's almost like you almost look for that, what's the word I'm looking for? You're looking for people to agree with you. You're looking for that, I can't think of the word, but so I did a lot of that. I'll be honest. You know, when we argued, I would, you know, those little you know, yeah.
And I would get my phone like, oh no,
yeah,
no,
she would be pissed.
But we learned from that, and it took time because all 1,522 members of your Facebook or Instagram page don't need to be a psychologist to you, and definitely not in your marriage, because I think those people they're getting over stuff themselves. So all advice is not great advice. And that took a while. There was some pain there. There was like, well, why would you do that? And he just wanted a voice. He wanted someone to hear him when I was like, I'm not listening to that. He wanted another opinion. But you know, our marriage everyone doesn't have to get a front row in our marriage. That's sacred to us. So now, how we work now is we don't put it on social media. We don't expand to that degree of individuals in our business. Do you agree?
No, I agree. The urge is still there on times. You know, you want to be like, do y'all know this? No, but now it's not even a disagreement. It'll just be something more playful, and you know, I might want to put it on. You know, if we. Yeah. I don't know, argue about a movie or something. Like, it'd be something playful. But before, I think anytime we really had an argument, I would want to. And that was just part of us learning how to, not only with social media, that extends to how we learn how to argue and fight and have those disagreements.
You know, infidelity, you know, or trust issues, you know. And, you know, we're dealing with those issues now. You know, we're dealing with those because sometimes you bring those trust issues from your other relationship into this relationship, and we do have trust issues.
Quickly, that a lot of my views and I'm hesitant to say this, but I gotta admit, a lot of my views were chauvinistic to a certain point. And you know, I expected a female to do certain things.
What the heck?
Okay, I'm glad you said
Nobody was mistreating you.
Can I tell you what
Nobody was cursing you out.
Can I tell you what I just got
Nothing
recently?
crazy was going on. You were not being disrespected.
In my mind.
It was when things didn't go your way.
Right.
You got something to say.